March something. I don't even know now. March 29th, I think. Today is Sunday, March 29th. Hello, everyone. Hey, Ty. Hey, Michelle. Welcome in. I'm Dr. Gina Page, president and co-founder of AfricanAncestry.com. Hello, hello, hello. We are the pioneers of genetic ancestry tracing for Black people around the world. And look, I want to thank you guys for coming in here because there's so much going on online right now in social media. When I tell you, we were supposed to come on at 5, but we pushed it to 4:30 because we are supporting Anthony Hamilton at Anthony Hamilton Official. We're supporting his upcoming concert at 5 o'clock. He's doing a relief concert, a COVID-19 relief concert for the Grammys, and they're focused on raising aid for music creators, healthcare professionals, people who work in the arenas and in the stadiums and in the jazz clubs and in all the music venues who no longer have employment because of this current event. And so I want to encourage you guys. I'm going to the concert. So I want you all to come with me. Come over there with me at 5 o'clock to at Anthony Hamilton Official, and let's get our groove on. And you know, it's important because to support him because he loves Africa. He's part of us. He's a kindred spirit. In fact, if you saw his concert last week, his song Her Heart, really beautiful song, was the most requested song by his African followers. So I'm looking forward to this. But listen, I'm all about being excited about African ancestry and the African ancestry family members in our community. So every day, every day, we're coming live for about 15 minutes to chop it up with one of our African ancestry family members. This week, I'm on a week thing. I think because it's Sunday. All right, let me recalibrate. Today, on Sunday, we're going to be talking to Monique Brewer. And I love Monique. So she is one of our constant Facebook Live participants. She's always in there with us. Hello, everyone who's joining. I'm so glad to see you here with us. Thank you for being here. Monique Brewer, as I was saying, is one of our African Ancestry family members, and she's going to come on and talk to us about her African Ancestry experience. And I'm really looking forward to that. Monique, I'm ready for you if you can join or send the request, and I'll approve the request for you to come on in. I actually had the good fortune to meet Monique. Ty in our office and I got to meet Monique when she was visiting Washington, D.C. We took her all around and showed her some of the sites, some of the Black sites, of course. We went to Howard. We went to the MLK Memorial. We took her all over D.C. I'm trying to remember where we ate. We probably ate at Busboys and Poets. Shout out to Busboys and Poets because that's where I eat all the time, or I did anyway, before the incident or before the event. So how are you guys hanging up? Okay, Monique, I missed her request. Oh, okay, wait, I can do it this way. Go live. Here we go. I'm getting the hang of this Instagram thing. I want to know how you guys are doing out there. It's the weekend. Everybody's weekend is probably a little bit different these days than it was in the past, but I hope you all are enjoying some downtime and getting a chance to relax. The other thing I'm doing today is the thread, hashtag the thread. It's a virtual State of the Black Union conference with people from all over the diaspora, from Africa, from Europe. These are Black folks now, the Caribbean, the United States, you name it. They're in there talking about all different sorts of things. And at 7:05, in about 2.5 hours, 7:05 Eastern Standard Time, I'll be on a panel talking about identity and how good about who we are based on our identities as Africans here in the Americas. Okay. Yeah, Darnell said he was on the thread. I saw your comments in there, Darnell. Hey, Mila Speaks, and I am Jaquare. Okay, here we go. I'm going to try this with Monique again. We're going to get it together. So the thing about Monique is we do a trivia question every Wednesday on our Facebook Live, and Monique always wins. Like sometimes we have to ban her from the question because she is a beast with the African trivia. And I see you're trying to get in, Monique. We'll give it some, it says connecting. I'm not quite sure what we have to do. But while you guys are coming in, or while you're here, tell me what's going on. What are you all doing this weekend? What kinds of things have you done? Have you been cleaning up, decluttering, cleaning out your closets, cooking? I've been cooking, which is hilarious because I'm not a good cook at all. But I want to hear what kinds of things you guys have been doing. And your coworkers, if you're at home with your new coworkers, aka your kids, what do you have them doing? Did they get a recess this weekend? So sleep and more sleep. I hear you, official BC Tex. Yes, Dutch Masterberry says decluttering for sure. Yeah, I'm not even going to turn this camera around so you guys can see the clutter that's going on in here. But we have the time to get it done. So let's do it. Let's do this decluttering. The People's Bailout Rally. Okay. Writing your book. All right. You guys are making some constructive use of your time. I hear that. There's so much going on. Monique is still trying to get in. Monique, I see you connecting. Nappy One, we love you back. Thank you for following us. Oh, wow. So someone's watching from Dubai. GSMA Gaga. Taking a spiritual journey. What's up, Diallo? Diallo's checking in from the village in Ghana. What's the name of your village, Diallo? I can't remember. Chief Leaf in the house. Gardening. It's beautiful here today. It feels like it's almost 80 degrees outside in DC. So gardening is definitely something that you could do here. I wanted to tell you, Trey, we are the pioneers of genetic ancestry tracing for Black people around the world. And we exist to help Black people transform and expand the way we view ourselves and the way we view Africa. And so we do that by connecting you to your African ancestry or to your ancestry 500 to 2,000 years ago. There's a bit of a misnomer or a bit of a misconception. We can't make your ancestry African. We look at single lineages of the family tree and tell you where those lineages go back. For most of us, the majority of our lineages are going to go back to Africa, but sometimes they don't. And so that's why I want our customers to come on so you can hear those various experiences. Wow, someone's checking in from Germany. Hello, Debo 58, learning Italian in Germany. Okay, so aren't we a resourceful people? Hello from Nigeria. Okay, so Trey, welcome. So you are Mende of Sierra Leone. You got a lot of cousins. Once you take your African ancestry test, you automatically become a member of our exclusive African Ancestry online community on Facebook. And in there, let me tell you, there are a gazillion people who we've traced to the Mende and the Temini of Sierra Leone. So you can go in there and share resources and information and connect to other people who share your ancestry. Someone asked about travel and what's going to happen to that travel industry once all of this dust has settled. And I'll tell you, that remains to be seen, but we have African Ancestry family reunions on tap, ready to go. And so when we are ready, we're taking when we can travel, we're taking a trip home to Sierra Leone. We are taking a trip home to Senegal. We are taking a trip home to Burkina Faso, Ghana. All of those trips are happening in the second half of the year. So you got to be an African Ancestry family member to join us, but there are over 1 million of you guys. So let's go. Let's get this going. Get ready. Start getting prepared. I know Monique is trying to get back in. All right, we got Houston in the house. We got California in the house. So some of my cousins, the Fulani people of Nigeria, are here with us. I love this. I'm glad to see all of you here with us today. So while we're waiting for Monique and the internet gods to work that out, can you tell me what you want to know? I'm here. I got a few minutes. I'm happy to answer any questions you have about ancestry, about the importance of knowing where you're from, about DNA, about your DNA. I'd love to come to Nigeria, and that's one of the places on our list for our family reunion. So let's definitely be in touch. Okay, so we got some Gullah Geechee on here, and as Best Clarice knows, the Gullah Geechee community is a directly descendant from people in Sierra Leone. In fact, that's where our rice plantations were, right? South Carolina, Georgia, Sea Islands. And so because slavery was a business, the enslavers got skilled labor from Sierra Leone that knew how to farm rice. And so that's why we can still see remnants of Sierra Leonean culture in the Gullah Geechee culture. So yeah, shout out to that. Now someone's in from the Dominican Republic or is from the Dominican Republic. And listen, we were taken all over the world. So all you have to do is go to shop.africanancestry.com and you can take a test to find out your ancestry. You'll decide whether you want to trace your maternal line or your paternal line, order the corresponding test, do the swabbing, send it back. Listen, we are the only company that does not sell or share your DNA. Our lab destroys it once we get your results. So we are all about data security at African Ancestry, and you can feel safe sending your information to us. Somebody wants to know how to get a good DNA test. Hey, that's simple. You go to AfricanAncestry.com. That's a very easy answer. Well, thank you, Joel. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the love. What other questions can I answer for you guys this afternoon? Tell me what you got. There she is. Hey! Monique Brewer in the house. What's up, girl?
Hey, I finally figured it out. I had to switch whole phones. I went from my Android to my iPhone.
Hey, now listen, iPhone, we are a Mac office. We are an Apple office. So I'm all about the iPhone. Welcome, Monique. It's so good to see you. V Teacher is asking, is this a good time to send my test in? V Teacher, yes, I think you should get it in now. ASAP. We are still receiving swabs. We are still sending your swabs to the lab, and we are still producing results. So Monique, we gotta make this quick now, girl, because we gotta go over to the Anthony Hamilton concert. But no, I'm not gonna rush you. You are very, very important to us. So Monique, tell our followers what your African ancestry experience has been like. I'm curious, what made you decide to take the test in the first place?
So I think the single most thing or event is that, in school, your students will normally get a project like, what's your ancestry? Give us your family history or your family tree. And I think it didn't really dawn on me the importance of knowing my ancestry until it hit my kids and they had to do the project. And I wasn't so much embarrassed, but I found it very frustrating. And I was a little upset that, I didn't know beyond, the United States of America, where I came from. Yes, I knew I come from the continent of Africa, but what country, what city, who are my people? And I don't have any of my grandparents. All four of my grandparents have passed on. And even if they were alive, to be honest, I doubt that they knew, because that information is just not known to most African American people. And it was also ethnicity that you can think of. They know my family comes from Italy, my family comes from Great Britain, wherever, India, all these other, countries. And Black people, we don't have that. And I guess sometimes it is kind of embarrassing, even though it's no fault of our own, it's just what happened behind slavery. And for lack of a better word, it sucks.
Yeah.
Or it sucked up until now.
Until now, exactly. So there were a lot of hearts when you were talking. If this resonates with you, if you have children who have had to do reports on their ancestry or have celebrated International Day at school, let me see some hearts. Let me see how many of you all have been experiencing this same sense of a void for your kids. And I know that you at least have one child, right?
I have two, a 9 and a 12-year-old.
That's right. So how is everything going for you guys in Southern California, Monique? Are your kids your new coworkers?
You know what? In some instances, but they pretty much leave me be. They're upstairs. They do their enrichment packets, and then they have their TV time, their breakfast, lunch, and dinner like any other day. We do stay in most days just to shelter in place and help us reach, the peak of this whole thing, before it really gets insane. But for the most part, it's not crazy. Thank God I still have a paycheck, and we're healthy and we're safe.
Good.
And that's all I can ask for.
Yes. And I'm glad to hear that. I'm very glad to know that you all are healthy and safe. So Monique, what was it like? Do you remember, like, when you opened your envelope, do you remember the feeling when you actually got your results?
You know what? I remember when I saw the email from USPS that told me I had mail from you. And I was excited from then. And I'm pretty sure my kids can attest, but I'm like sometimes a yeller when I get excited. So when I opened that email, I squealed a little bit. And the first thing I did when I got home is I went to that mailbox and got that envelope. And I'm pretty sure I sent those test results in, if not that evening, the very next day. Because it was just essential to finding out who I am, to unlocking, another piece of the puzzle. And I think, unfortunately, that's just one of the biggest issues for African American people, is that we truly don't know who we are. We think we know, but we don't really know. If you can't trace your heritage back to where it all began, I just think that you're not living life fully if you don't know that information. And that's just my opinion. That's no slight on anyone else.
Of course. And that's why we're here. We're here to get your opinion, so you feel free to share it. So when you got your results, what happened? What did we find, or what did you find, and what did you do?
You know what? That was probably one of the best feelings in my life. So my results were, I thought they were very unique at first, but then I've come to find that they're not so unique. So my results were matched back to 3 different countries, 3 different tribes. So I am Mende of Sierra Leone, Mandinka of Senegal, and Fula or Fulani of Guinea-Bissau. And I think the certainty was like some 97%. So it was fairly high,
Yeah, it was actually higher than that, because we don't even call a match if it's not at least 90.
Was it like 99.7 or something?
Yeah, that sounds better.
That 7 was in there somewhere.
Yeah. So, and I want to explain to people how that's possible, that we find your ancestry in 3 different places. We talked about this a little bit with Darnell Clayton, who was on Friday. But what we have to recognize is that Senegal, Guinea-Bissau, and Sierra Leone are like 800 miles between the 3 of them. Mm-hmm. And so that's the distance between maybe DC and Atlanta, I think, if that. And so back 500 years ago, 2,000 years ago, actually more than 500 years ago, but no, because the scramble for Berlin was in the 1860s, I think. So back then, before Europeans, that was all one land. Mm-hmm. These were empires we're talking about. They didn't have these artificially and politically drawn borders. And so what you find is that culture, which is your ethnic group, that represents culture and traditions and values and beliefs. That's not genetic. Mm-hmm. So there are people living in Senegal today who are Mandinka, who share a same language family with the Mende, who are in Sierra Leone, that have the same genetics, but they just have a different set of beliefs and traditions that they subscribe to. So what have you done with the information besides become an expert in African trivia, Monique?
Well, I think the main thing that I've done is I've shared my results with as many people that will listen. Like, I got my father interested, I got my mom interested. I made sure that I joined the AAOC online community and that I'm active in there, and I provide information where I can, and I welcome people where I can. I now know that I have cousins. I have Mende cousins in California that I keep in regular contact with. Contessa and Tyrone and
Shout out
Joseph. You know, and I try when I can, I try to go to your events to support you guys because you're now my family. It's not just based upon, you know, what family I was born into, or my blood. Eventually, our lines all trace back to one continent, a country, multiple countries, you know, and despite the fact that there are artificial lines drawn in the sand, so to speak, you know, we're all related in one way or another. And it's important to me that I continue to build those relationships and I expand my knowledge, you know, as in terms of who I am, so that when my kids get older, they can pass that information on to their kids and no one can ever tell them who they are or define that for them. So that's where I am right now. Although one thing I really want to do that I haven't been able to do is I really, 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 really want to go back to Africa. I don't know where, I don't know when, I don't know how, but I'm going to get there eventually. Yeah. And it's crazy that I have 3 countries to go to, 3 tribes to, you know, to connect with. That's awesome.
That's great. You have choices.
Yes.
So Monique, one of the things I like to do with people on the lives is I want to give you 3 words, and I want you to tell me the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the word, okay?
Okay.
All right. The first word is DNA.
Me. It's just who I am.
The second word is Africa.
Home.
The third word is identity.
I say resolved, but then I kind of have to think of it. I haven't done my dad's side yet, not his paternal line, but his maternal line. But I think for the most part, it's given me resolution. I'll say that.
Very good. Very good. I think you captured a sentiment that a lot of people feel. They feel a sense of completion. They feel a sense of, like you said, resolution. Like now they have an answer. Yep. To a question often that they may not have realized that they had, which I find to be quite powerful. I noticed someone in the comments said, I think that person is a teacher, and said that they've actually stopped doing those kinds of exercises in their classrooms that we were talking about earlier with International Day or Ancestry, because it was making the African American students upset. Monique, we've been tossing around this idea, and I wonder what you think, and you guys give me some feedback here in the comments. As your children are at school and enriching their education at home, I'm sorry, not at home school is what I meant to say, and enriching their education at home, would you be interested in maybe like an African ancestry camp, you know, for a week where they got some information about the countries that we share ancestry with, or countries across the continent? What do you think about that? I'm
down for that all day. All day, because one thing I feel that schools don't do, districts don't do anymore, is we don't teach Black history, African American history. We have a whole month dedicated to us as a people. And I can't tell you the last time my kids have learned anything in school, being 9 and 12, regarding who they are and the impact that their people have had on this country, the world at large. It's just, I almost feel sometimes like the month of February is just, it's there. I mean, adults, we celebrate, we put out quotes, we put out information, but what's the point if you're not teaching the kids, the generations below us that are going to grow up and have to teach their children? So I find that I have to teach them at home. You know, I have to go in hard. And that's not that it's not my job. It very much is my job, but I feel like I need a little bit of backup. I don't know everything.
Yeah,
you know
you
what I
need some
mean?
reinforcement.
Yeah.
I was just talking to someone. He's a brother who lives in Utah. Believe this, a Black man who grew up in Utah to Black parents, and he was expressing his frustration about how he never learned anything positive about being Black, and he grew up ashamed of being Black.
Wow.
He grew up with zero exposure to the idea that we come from empires, the idea that coming from Africa is a positive thing. Wow. Even a lot of the history that we've experienced here in the United States in these past 400 years, he had no idea about. And I thought, wow,
that's profound.
Yeah, like how is that possible? He's in his early 40s, and I'm thinking, wow, how is that possible? And it just made me and continue to be grateful for my parents and my family, and growing up in DC around an extended family of people that, you know, I never once questioned the importance of being Black, the significance of being Black, or being proud of being. That was never even in my mindset from day one. So I think that you're right. Our parents play a very important role, but the more the village around us can help our kids, just the better we all are for it.
And one thing my dad did, and when I was a kid, I disliked it so much, but as an adult, I appreciate it, and I appreciate him, is my dad had us watching movies all day. My dad had us reading books all day, movies and books that were important to us, to our culture, to help us learn who we are, to help us learn the things that we've gone through, you know, to get to where we are today, to understand just the touch that we have on almost every aspect of just living, you know, the traffic signal, the computer. I mean, just so many different things that we've contributed, you know, that we've invented, and our people do not get the acknowledgement that they deserve. And I think that's that plays a part in why other people look down on us so largely, is that they're not taught about our significance, and that gives them what they need, the ammunition to continue to treat us the way that they do, because their parents don't teach them.
Right. Listen, y'all, this is Monique Brewer, African Ancestry family member, Monique Brewer, preaching to us on a Sunday evening or afternoon, depending on where you are. I'm Gina Page, president and co-founder of AfricanAncestry.com. And I am so happy to see your face, Monique. Every week,
I'm happy to see you.
Thank you. We're on the Facebook Live, and Monique is constantly chiming in. And so I'm glad. Thank you for coming on live with us, because your experience is important. Your voice is important. And while we are the face of the company, you are the engine. You are part of the people that help spread the word and spread the education and get people excited about learning who they are and learning where they're from. And so I want to thank you for taking this time with us this afternoon. People were you had a lot of comments. I couldn't even read them. They were going so fast.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm glad to do my part. I'm seriously very proud to be able to participate in things like this, because education is very important to me. Helping my people is very important to me. It's all significant, no matter how small or how big. Anybody can do anything and make a difference.
Amazing. So what we have is, if you go to the link in our bio here on Instagram, you'll see a link to our quiz. And there's a Find Your Tribe quiz. So for those of you who've been kind of tinkering around with the idea and haven't fully made the commitment, go take the quiz. There's a free gift for you at the end of the quiz. And to take this test. And as Monique said, you know, now she can pass this information along to her family, her siblings, her mother, her aunts, her uncles, her cousins, her kids, and all the future generations now know that their ancestry is deeply rooted in the Mende people of Sierra Leone, just from the one test that she took. And so, Monique, I feel like I need to give you some kind of gift for coming. So I'm gonna think of
no,
something
you don't.
good. Yesterday I gave Marcus Stone, I'm sending him a copy of the Cooking Gene, but you're so hard because you pretty much won everything that we have to give away in the trivia. But what I am going to do is I'm going to ask you, I got a lot of positive feedback about this African Ancestry homeschool camp. And so I may be coming to you to get some feedback on our ideas of how to take this forward.
I'm down. Anything I can do to help.
Cool. So everybody, thank you for joining us. It's 5:02. Anthony Hamilton's concert is getting ready to start over on @Anthony Hamilton Official. I want to thank you for joining us, and we'll be back here tomorrow at 5 o'clock Eastern to talk to another African Ancestry family member. Take care. Monique, be well.
You too. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.